So, what's the real gap between where you are right now and where you actually want to be? It's probably not your circumstances or your background. It's something way more fundamental. It's all about your mindset. Today, we're going to break down exactly what it means to have the 1% mindset.
Right off the bat, this idea just blows up all the common myths about success, doesn't it? We're always told it's about having a ton of cash or knowing the right people. But the truth, the real thing that separates people, the true advantage, really just comes down to the small, seemingly tiny choices you make, day in and day out.
And here's the absolute core of it. See, most people are completely fixated on the outcome. The trophy, the big promotion, the finish line. But the 1%? They are obsessed with something totally different, the process. They're not daydreaming about what they'll achieve. They are relentlessly focused on what they need to do today.
Time is the great equalizer. The most successful people on the planet do not get a single extra second in their day than you do. And that really forces you to ask yourself how you're using that universal currency. Are you just letting your time slip away, or are you actually investing it?
Okay, so if we're going to adopt this mindset, we first have to kind of clear out the old programming. Our first section here is all about dismantling the biggest excuses we tend to tell ourselves.
Oh, we love the story of the overnight success, don't we? Or the naturally gifted genius. Because, well, it lets us off the hook. It makes it feel like the top performers just won some kind of genetic lottery and that their success is, just not accessible to the rest of us. But honestly, that's just a convenient story we tell ourselves.
So what's the big secret then? Well, it's not a secret at all. It's the hard, unglamorous, simple truth of consistency. It's about having the discipline to do the work when the motivation is completely gone, when you're tired, and when there's literally no one there to cheer you on. That's the real engine of success.
So, if consistency is the engine, what's the actual framework? Section 2 is where we break this whole mindset down into 3 core actionable pillars.
All right, these are the 3 pillars we're going to explore. And notice something here. They're all actions, not personality traits. These are things you do, not things you simply are. Let's dive right into that first one, consistency.
Now, this is such a powerful analogy. Imagine this. For 4 straight years, you water and you nurture a bamboo seed, and absolutely nothing happens. Seriously, not a single inch of visible growth. Most people would have quit, right? But what's really happening is the bamboo is building this massive, complex root system underground. It's building its foundation. And then, in its 5th year, it just explodes, shooting up 90 feet into the air. That right there is the power of patient, consistent work.
This really shows us that those huge breakthroughs we see in public are almost never the result of one giant leap. Nope. They're the end result of thousands of tiny, consistent steps, taken day after day after day, especially when no one is watching.
And this brings us right to pillar number 2, embracing discomfort. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Your comfort zone, well, that's where your potential goes to die. Real, meaningful growth only ever begins the moment you're willing to step into the unknown and do the hard stuff.
Look at these 2 totally different ways of looking at hardship. The 99%, they want the prize without the fight. They'll do anything to avoid sacrifice. The 1%, though, they get that the struggle isn't some obstacle on the way to their goal. The struggle is the path. They see every challenge as a training session, just making them stronger for what's next. And our third pillar, relentless self-investment. This just means actively putting time and energy into the only assets that are truly yours. Investing in your education isn't just about fancy degrees. It's choosing to read a book instead of scrolling social media. Investing in your health is choosing the gym over hitting the snooze button. And investing in your mindset, that could be just taking 5 minutes to meditate. When you invest in yourself, the returns compound into a life that you actually design. All right, our next section is going to tackle the one thing that stops most people dead in their tracks, the fear of failure.
So just think about that for a second. What does that word really mean to you? Is it like a final verdict, a final judgment on what you can or can't do? Or is it something else entirely? Look at the huge difference here. For most people, failure is a stop sign. It's a signal to just give up. But for the 1%, it's just feedback. It's a data point. It's not who they are. It's just an event. It's a necessary lesson on the path to finally getting it right.
And that's the real punchline. Success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about being willing to fail more often than anyone else. Think about it. A high failure rate is just a side effect of a high attempt rate.
The people at the very top are just the ones who got up one more time than they got knocked down. Simple as that.
Okay, let's bring all this home in our final section. This is where all the theory becomes your reality. This is all about taking action.
If you only take one single thing away from this explainer, please let it be this. The absolute bedrock of the 1% mindset is ownership. It's the radical acceptance that you and you alone are in the driver's seat of your life. Nobody is coming to save you. You have to be your own rescue.
This right here captures that final, crucial difference between passively waiting and proactively creating. The 99% are waiting for the conditions to be absolutely perfect. The 1%, on the other hand, they know there's no such thing as a perfect moment. They don't wait for opportunities. They go out and create them. They don't ask for permission. They just bet on themselves.
This is the ultimate question, isn't it? After everything we've looked at, the daily choices, the consistency, how you look at failure, it all boils down to this. Who do you believe is ultimately in control? And that answer, it changes everything.
And that's really what this is all about. This mindset. It's not some exclusive club for a chosen few. It's got nothing to do with talent or luck. It is a choice that is available to you right now, in this moment. It's a set of principles you can start using today. So the only question left is, will you?